All right, this is the TROXUS LYNX 20-inch fat tire bike, and I just want to say before we start the review who this bike would be for. So first of all, it is a fast bike. It actually does do about 27.5 miles an hour as a true class 3 bike. So this is a bike that actually for someone who wants a little speed, but as you can see, it's a step through. As you can also see that it has a really nice sized rack with a nice wood on it. It's a great utility bike. So this bike is actually a lot more versatile than you think because you can step through it. So even for someone shorter, as short as 5'1", can actually use a bike like this. So there's a lot of versatility to it. And this is one heck of a bike I'm excited to review. Let's get started. Unboxing of the TROXUS LYNX was pretty straightforward. Like most of the bikes there, I could get the front rim out first, so I decided to put flat out tire sealant right away to make sure that I don't get any flats while we're doing the ride. Then I took out the bike, slid it out, and put it onto a bike stand so I could unwrap all of the huge amount of wrapping that they put on it. Also put flat out tire sealant in the back tire there as well. Then got the handlebars assembled, put it up on the front, and we finished unwrapping the rest of the bike here. Then we worked on the front fender and the headlight, attached that next, and then straightened up the handlebars, get everything aligned the way I wanted it to so that it had the most comfortable ride. Then I decided to test the motor, make sure that was working okay, had the bike turned around, checked the lights to make sure the lights were working, and then we're pretty much just ready to go after the pedals are put on. Okay, so we're walking up to the TROXUS LYNX 20-inch fat tire bike, and let's start with the back of the bike here. I'm talking about some really good components for this bike, and we're going to start with an Altus derailleur in the back here. Very common with higher quality bikes. We also are looking at the rack here, and if you look closely at the way that these welds are made, you'll notice that the materials that they're using are thick, and it's not your standard thin bar materials here. This is actually a higher quality rack. This is a cargo bike. I mean, it can be utilized and carry a lot of stuff there. You look at these bolts that are going into the frame there. This is made to actually hold the rack steady and solid, and it does a good job. And we'll take a glance here really at the way that the designers have actually put these boards on it so that you also have a flat area surface. Now, I wanted to point out here, it also comes with a real Bafang motor. And for those of you not familiar with it, Bafang is one of the top name brands out there. And they're known for good quality. And they're one of the leaders, actually, of motor makers. And this is a true 750-watt motor. I don't know what the controller is, so what the total output is, but I gotta guess it's over 1,000 watts peak. And now we're looking at the 7 gears that we have here. The sprocket in the back has 14 to 28 teeth. So that gives us your average type of range on something like this. We also have our integrated brake light here in the back. So when you do hit the brakes, the light does go on. So all around, with even a metal rear fender, this bike, they really used really good quality parts. And you also have a seat post that adjusts all the way down to like 5'1" up to 6'3". So that's a big range of riders that can use that. And here we have the front sprocket at 42 teeth. It's a little small, so you do have a lot of air pedaling at higher speeds, but nonetheless, it does actually do a great job, and it's solid. It's a really good drivetrain, fully from front to back. Here, we also are looking at how solid this frame is with reinforcements that you just see all over the place here in the midsection of the frame. Taking a little step back, you can see how the big part of the middle of the frame there is holding that battery. But let's jump to the front first before we start talking about the midsection here. This front shock I'm not familiar with. It does a great job, And behind the shocks, or right under them, you see the Kenda Crusade tires. Again, these are 20 by 4-inch tires. They're fat tires, really good. These shocks also have lockouts on this side. And we'll get a shot a little later of the preload adjustments that you can do as well on the other side of the bike when we step on that side. Moving a little higher, you see our brakes and our handlebars. Just a kind of a picture of the dashboard. Let's start from the left to right on this dashboard. Slowly moving over. The Tektro brakes that we have feel really comfortable. Great grip on those brakes as well. The cable management is extremely tight. I really like the way that they tightened everything up with that wrapping there. They're also using this BMX style handlebars, which leave a lot of space for a lot of different things. We also have our bell, which works really well. It's not a pull and let go. It actually rings as it moves up and down. So that's a really nice bell there. And here we have our preload adjustments on the left side of the bike, looking from the front still here. As we move a little lower, you'll see the headlight turn on. Now, this is not a headlight that's really super bright to brighten up the whole road in front of you, but it does do an adequate job of getting you seen. And that's really important, especially when you're riding around. As we still scroll down through this fork here, we're going to be able to take a look at our disc brake here. It's 160 millimeter disc brakes, and they are using mechanical Tektro brakes on the front, which feel almost like they're hydraulics. I have to double check 2 or 3 times because the brakes work really, really well. Next to that, behind it, we have also metal fender, also in the front here like we did in the back. And this was installed during the unboxing. Still really clean. As you look at the cable management here as well, how it feeds into the frame and gets hidden in there. TROXUS just does a great job on their design and how they put this bike together. Even the bottom here where we have our port where you can plug in to charge up the battery. This cover is not like some of the others where I've had a really difficult time taking it out and putting it back in, where this one kind of pops right back in very easily. And then as we move closer to the back of the bike, you'll see our kickstand here, solid kickstand. For the weight of this bike, it does need to be very strong, and it does. It does a great job. Again, looking close up at the wood slats that we have on the back of the rack here. It's just really a well-designed bike all in all. Now, you do see that the taillight is on. So when the headlight is on, the taillight goes on as well. We also have a handle in the back of the bike here, so you can grab and lift it up if you need to move the bike over very quickly. That's a very handy place to have one. You can also, use that to carry stuff. Going from the right to left from this side of the bike, we have the cell phone holder here that I have there is an accessory that is added, as well as that bottle bag. That's an accessory you can get at the ebikeproducts.com website to add on if you want. I decided to put it on here because we were doing so much riding. And we're going to take a look at the shifter here. It's a paddle shifter style, and that is really an essential thing, and made by Shimano. As you can see the branding there, it's so smooth. Working with the Altus derailleur in the back there, the step-by-step up and down, you can move very quickly through the gears. So you're looking at the handlebars here, there's enough space to even put another bottle bag. If you wanted to put 2 bottles on there, you can. And as you look at the controller here, it's a very simple controller. I really like this style here. There's a lot of buttons to do things. That one on the left there that I'm holding turns on and off the bike. And then you have your other side, you just push it once and turns the headlight on. So you don't have to hold the button down. Again, you just push it, turns it off again. So very easy controlling that we have all put together there. And that middle button, of course, goes through our different functions. Again, you're seeing the headlight going on and off, just clicking it. You don't have to hold it and wait a few seconds. And as we go through all of the different features of the display here, it is, it's a monochrome feature. It does really well as far as keeping visibility of what you want to see. There is also something like a tachometer that actually shows the power that you're using when you're throttled up. But you can circle through, your trip meter, your top speed, and then it is very responsive as well, going through your PAS levels. So you have 5 different PAS levels here, and at PAS level 1 and above, you get a full 20 mile an hour throttle. So this is a true class 3 bike where when you throttle it, it goes up to 20 miles an hour. Now, if you start to pedal, you can go over the 20 mile an hour mark because the PS allows you to go up to 27.5. That's the speeds that we got on this bike. So you can see here, PS1 hitting the throttle, we get 20 miles an hour. So you will always have full throttle no matter what level you're at, as long as it's 1 and above. And I'm pointing out here that you see this cable below on the Tektro brake handle. That Tektro brake handle there, cable is a auto cutoff. So as soon as you hit the brakes, the motor does shut off. We have locking grips, and you can tell these are locking because they have this little screw here I'm pointing at there, and it keeps the brake, it keeps the grips from rotating when you don't want to, as you're riding around, especially when it gets hotter. A lot of grips will start to just kind of slip and rotate through. So taking a step back, you see the whole bike here, the TROXUS LYNX 20-inch fat tire bike. Again, this is a fantastic, well-made, fully high-end components to make this a solid bike through and through. The design is really good. And here, this demonstrating now how to remove the battery. You just basically stick your key in there. You just turn it, and that will allow you to slide the battery out. Now, we have a really big battery. So keep in mind, this is heavy because it's a full 20 amp hour battery. So 960 watt hours that you have with this. It has Samsung cells in it. There's the port on the bottom so you can even charge it off the bike. And the charger is a 3 amp charger. So you do have a fast charger with this as well. And that's going to take about 6 to 7 hours on a totally empty battery, which, you should never really run it all the way empty. But if you do, that fast charger will get it back up in 6 hours or so. And here we have the safety latch that will allow you to be sure that your battery won't fall out if the key happens to not have grabbed the lock itself in there. And just to do a little playing around to see, the power that's behind this. It has a lot of torque. It's a powerful bike. 27.5 miles an hour is what we were getting on the top speeds. So much fun and very, very comfortable. This is a very strong contender for, an all-around utility bike as one of the top-end bikes on the market. So if you're interested in looking into more details about the TROXUS LYNX, you can use the link below in the description or just go to ebikeproducts.com/links. Again, that's ebikeproducts.com/links. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.